Welcome to Tools, Tech, and Gear. I'm Seth. Today we're going to be unboxing the GT Racing Blue chair. So we can set this up in my kids' schoolroom and they can do their projects in here. I got this one for my son, so let's pull all the stuff out of the box and put this together real quick, and then I'll do a review of the chair. First of all, a 2-page instruction booklet. Have one of the armrests. There's 2 of those, of course. The hardware, it's very important to have that. The gas cylinder protector, very important to keep your feet from getting sliced off in that thing. This is the wheelbase, or at least most of it. You have to assemble 2 different legs on there. Lumbar pillow, backrest support covers, the piece that attaches to the base that allows you to adjust the angle up and down, and then the tilt. The back of the seat, the neck pillow, the seat cushion, the other armrest. In the last box there are several things. You've got the gas spring, you've got package wheels, some more covers for the mounting hardware, the other 2 small pieces of the legs, and then lastly, the 2 pieces that go from the seat up to the backrest. I have everything laid out to begin assembly. Let's start from the bottom. Flip over the wheelbase, and you've got the extra pieces that come separate. I'm guessing they are here because you've got to ship this thing in a smaller box. It actually takes a pretty good bit of force to pop those into place. You probably could even step on it if you needed to. Next, I'm going to take these wheels and just push these into that open hole. Just snaps right in. Next step, take that gas cylinder, place it down there in the middle of the wheelbase. Don't forget to put the guard around that gas cylinder. And now we can set this over to the side for a moment. Now it's time to get the adjustment mechanism on the base of the seat and also get the armrests installed. Now all of these are going to use the M820 bolts. So I'm going to flip this over. This right here is the front, which there actually is a sticker here that says front facing that way. And that's important because when you flip this over, there's the word front written on the metal right here. And so you just want to make sure you position that in the correct direction. And then you can use your Allen wrench to get this bolted down. Now I recommend that you only tighten these partially until you have all of the other bolts in place. And that way everything will be lined up before you tighten it down. The armrests also have a sticker showing right or left, and on the seat base there is a right and a left here. So you just line up the correct one and use more of those M820 bolts to get the seat and the armrests together. This one's a bit more important to have that bolt half tightened because it's a little bit more difficult to line those up. Now, on the armrest attachment, you actually can slide this more in towards the seat or out away from the seat, depending on your preference and how much room you take up in the seat. For my little kids, I'm going to bring this in pretty close because they are tiny. Both armrests and the adjustment mechanism are now installed. Let's move this aside just long enough to get the base up here. I'm going to bring this back so it can slide off the table. Now, flip the seat around, stick it onto the gas cylinder. There we go. That will push down more whenever somebody sits on it. So, let's go ahead and get the back on now. To do that, we've got to have the 2 mechanisms that will attach from down here up here. Now the one on the right is the one that has the handle and the big heavy spring. So to install those, we've got to grab our hardware packet, and this other one is the M825. Now, just like with the base, you don't want to tighten these down all the way because you have to put the back on. So just kind of get this in the general position you want it, with those bolts going into the seat. That's good enough for that side. Let's flip it around. With this bracket, you may have to open it up a bit before it will go into position. Okay, now it's time to get the back on. Just going to set this right down in here, and then use the same M825 bolts to get that attached. And you can see where it's really important to not tighten down all the previous ones, or it would be difficult to slide this into position. Sometimes the faux leather kind of gets tucked into the hole. It makes it a little bit more difficult to get that out, to get that bolt in there.
Daddy.
Yes.
So guess what?
What is it?
So now Eldo is watching Potato Dog again.
He's watching Potato Dog again.
Uh-huh.
One that says, "I'm a potato dog. Really, really potato dog."
No, that's not even the song. Daddy,
Yep.
I'm talking about the one that says, Potato Dog, like where he's sleeping and that one. Daddy, hello.
He likes that song a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's cable.
Once you get the backrest bolts in there, don't forget to go back down to the bottom and tighten those back up. And to cover up this working mechanism, you've got these plastic covers, and so I'm going to use these M58 screws here, and that's just going to attach right down in here. You put the lower one on first, and then you get to the upper one. Make that decently tight. Now you've got one that has a more pronounced upward slope there, and one that doesn't have it. And so the one that's got it, there's a little button tab back here that's going to pop in here and hold that into place. And then you use another one of those M58 to attach that. And then in your hardware kit, there are a couple of these little plastic bumps that fit into that screw hole, and it just hides that screw, makes it look nice there. Alright, now spin the chair around, and you've got one more side to do, and it's just the same as the other, where you use those little tiny M5. The very last step is to put the pillows on. So for the neck rest, you go in through these vent holes up top, and they just clip in the back. So if I spin this around, you can see there it just snaps into position. And then with the lumbar support, it's a little bit different. The lower bungee goes kind of tucked in between the seat here, while the upper one is left out. And then the upper one goes back into that vent, folds down and snaps. Alright, you can see it just comes down to the back and snaps. And what's nice about this design is you can actually move the lumbar up and down based on that back strap. You ready to check out your chair? There it is. Your chair's done. It's the blue one.
What?
Right here. This chair is yours.
No, look. You're tail.
He seems very excited.
Now look at your tail.
You want to sit in your chair?
This is my tail.
That is your chair. Look, here's Emma's, purple. And here is Arrow's blue. That went about as well as I expected. Tomorrow he'll come in here and be just so amazed and shocked that he's got a chair. But that initial introduction was not very good. So let's take a look at the chair and do a quick review of it. Now, I actually did assemble the purple version for my daughter, and there are a few subtle differences. On this one, you actually put a bolt into that base piece, whereas this one you just press and snap it into place, so that was different. And there was one more thing I saw, but it's mostly the same chair. This one does not recline quite as far as the purple one, which is interesting, but everything else seems to be pretty consistent. So, the wheels themselves seem to roll around pretty good. Nice and smooth. They all swivel as they should. These are plastic, but I guess they give you a little bit extra grip when you put your feet on those, which I find myself doing a lot. Let's go over here and find the lift. So when you push this handle right here up, pulls that gas chamber up like that. This handle tilts the back, which we'll get to that in just a moment. Under here is a knob that you're supposed to be able to spin to adjust the height, the angle of the seat. So far, I've twisted it pretty good. I don't think it does a whole lot, but at least it's there. So the primary sitting area is between here, and this chair says it can hold 300 pounds. That's probably pushing it a little bit. I anticipate these right here catching a lot of Cheetos, and you're going to have to clean that out, but it is what it is. The armrests you can adjust by pulling this tab up and doing that. It'll lock into place, and you've got multiple different settings there you can adjust to, and you can actually tilt this in or straight or out depending on your sitting preferences. It's the same on both sides. And the lumbar, of course, you can remove if you need to. I actually enjoy it. And you can bring it up or down depending on where you need that support. The pillow up top is really nice for your neck whenever you're laying down. Let's see what else we got here. The pad is sufficient. I've not used it for very long to see how it's going to hold up. There's a zipper all the way around the back, so you could access the inside. I don't know why you would need to, but that is the basics of the chair. Okay, the chair is at its highest position. I'm going to drop it down. There we go. So whenever you first sit down and recline this thing, it can be a little bit frightening, but once you get down here, and like I said, this one doesn't go quite as far as the purple chair. It's got a little bit of rock, and that's something you can actually change here. If you pull the knob out down here, it'll actually rock a bit further, as you can see. But if you don't want that to happen, you can push it up and lock that bar back into position, and it will stay where it is here. Yeah, it takes a little bit of effort to climb back out of this because the spring isn't super strong. So you just pull the lever and sit up for that to lock back into place. Now I've got it slightly tilted here. You can actually go way up. And that would be really fun to play games at. But yeah, so it does have quite a nice range of motion. But that right there is pretty comfortable. Bring those up some. I think you could sit in that for quite some time. And if you pull that lever out, you've got, yeah, no rock, but for some reason it's got more rock whenever it is back some. I guess it just requires a bit more push. I'll have to give you an update on these chairs as we use them over the next year or so. But in the meantime, I like them. They seem to be a decent quality, and the price was not too bad. Depending on which color you get, the price goes up or down. I think the purple one was one of the least expensive at like $105 or $85. I forget what it was, but they go up to $165 depending on the color scheme. But thank you for watching this video. I'm Seth with Tools, Tech, and Gear, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. random noises that make no sense.